Welcome to Ram and Goat Astrology. Join Helena and me, Laura Lee, each week as we take you on an explorative journey of astrology and health, reading charts, talking planetary energies, while educating and entertaining you. We help you navigate the mysteries of the stars and how they affect you personally. Here we go. Hello. Welcome to Ram and Goat Astrology. I'm Laura Lee.
Phillip Lotto.
So he's not the normal goat that is on our show. This is my husband. We have a special guest today, and we are doing a reading for him with his solar return chart because he's got a big day coming up, don't you?
Birthday.
Like soon.
Birthday time. Mm-hmm.
This week.
Yep, Friday.
I better get you something. Because you're turning 40, so you're entering a new decade.
Right.
I turned 40, actually exactly 40 weeks ago. We are one gestation apart.
It's a wonderful thing to think of.
Like I came into the world and then his spirit was like, all right, go.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yep.
So, and you were an oops baby.
Yep.
So
it's like you jumped into the tube to go down the slide.
Yeah.
And I waited until you were down, and then
you were like, all right, she's in. All right, here I go.
She's safe.
It's such our personalities.
She made it.
Isn't that our personalities too?
Pretty much.
I love it. So, Philip and I have been together a while. This will be our 23rd birthday celebration that we've been together.
Yeah.
I've been with you for 23 turns around the sun, and you're turning 40. That's so trippy. Isn't that trippy?
It is. Yeah. We're only 40.
Right. And then like in 9 more years, we'll be talking about this next thing and we're going to be like, we're only 49. We're only 50. And it's just so strange how long we've been together and how young we were. And we're one of those couples.
I know. Close to our quarter century together.
Quarter century's coming out. Yeah, we entered our 24th year this year of togetherness, and somewhere around 20 for married. I don't even pay attention now.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember. Right. So I don't have to.
Right? Somewhere in that department. So we've been together for a while, and we have gone through the gambit of situations and personalities and interests changing. And now, since I kind of came out of the closet as an astrologer this past year, it's been interesting because we're really using it a lot more. We used it for years and years and years, but we're using it a lot more. And now what we've been doing is going back in time and looking at like what was going on when this particular situation was happening, or who were we when this happened, or what was going on with the transits when this happened.
Right.
So it's interesting to me to dive into your solar return and recognize that, you know what, each year we have had a different flavor of personality and who we are and what we were going through that year.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. Yeah.
And it's so intriguing.
Some a little bit more obvious than others.
Yeah. Some of them have been more chill and low key, and some of them have been the opposite. Yeah. And that's happened for both of us.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's you going, hey, I'm gonna join the military and go do this now, and I'm like, whoa, okay. That was one of the first bombs you dropped. And then, it sometimes seems like with our personalities, it's always me dropping the bombs, but you're like a secret bomb dropper.
Yeah, I like to burst your bubble once in a while.
You do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and they're big. You save them up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I do like the little landmines everywhere that, and you just like do the big, huge kaboom. So that's something we've been through so much now, is these yearly themes and these yearly energy shifts. And it's so intriguing to kind of go back and, as an astrologer, go back and read these charts and read what's been going on. And we're starting to explore the last couple of years and see what's going on. So this year we are diving into his solar return, and we're going to pull up his chart here for those of you watching, and for those of you listening. His birth information, if you're interested, is December 23rd, 1982. He was born at 1:44 p.m. in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So with that chart, his natal chart, we've got quite a bit of Capricorn going on natally. You've got your sun at 1 degree Capricorn, your asteroid of Sirius, which is how we nurture ourselves and feel nourished and really satisfied. That asteroid is actually right next to your sun at 5 degrees Capricorn. And then we've got Venus at 13 and Mercury at 19. So you've got a solid foundation to who you are. Mm-hmm. And then you've got next to your sun in Sagittarius at 26 degrees is Neptune. So you got a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of spirituality and healing energy and just this kind of love everything energy. This really, like, I like to think of it as this, as really that Piscean Jesus energy, right? Like it's this energy of like, do unto others as you would do to yourself and be kind, you know, and that's definitely an energy that is incorporated into who you are, being only 5 degrees away from your sun sign. So I love that about you. And people feel that. They feel safe with you. You're like the oak tree that we all hang out around, and all the crazy lunatic birds flying in your branches that you're quite entertained by.
Kids.
Yep. You've got, you know, Venus and Mercury. You love stability and you love the stubbornness and you love the planning, and that's how you bring in money. That's your relationships, which I think is so funny because I'm anything other than that.
Yeah. I mean,
but
you are opposite in a lot of ways.
I am, but it's also in your 8th house of changing and transforming, and that's what I'm really good at. So there's that energy, but we also have you and I have a lot of connections with 7th house energy. Your Neptune is there. You've got the planet, the asteroid Pallas Athena. So that would be your wisdom and your strategy of how you get through life is with a partner or with your marriage partner or business partner. And I feel like you get some wisdom from me.
I at least learned some wisdom through you.
Right. Through my experiences.
Right, exactly.
and then right next down from that is 6 degrees Sagittarius. We have the planet of chaos. Uranus is in your marriage house. So independence is also there. And you and I are both very independent people, and we respect that about each other.
Right.
But we work together as a group really well, but we respect that this is you, this is me, and this is who we are, and she's going to do weird and I'm going to do my own weird, but secretly. And then it just works for us, and that's something that we've, I think, always known about ourselves. I mean, in high school when we were dating, we were at the weird table.
Yeah, misfits.
The misfits, yeah. That's, I mean, where else do you pick a better partner from? Is at the weirdo table.
Well, yeah, if you're a weirdo yourself, sure.
Right?
Or at least are drawn to that sort of thing.
Right. And then at 29 degrees Scorpio, you've got Jupiter also in your 7th house. So you've got 4 things in your 7th house and then 4 things in Capricorn. So you've got a lot of this Sagittarius and Capricorn energy, but also partnership with your 7th house, and 8th and 9th house is transformation and learning and education and travel. And you've got a lot of these themes going on with who you are. So your natal chart is really concentrated to a major area. And then of course we've got our friend Saturn conjunct Pluto over there in the 6th. You get to work hard every damn day and transform in your daily life and in your body. I mean, Saturn is your body and 6th house is your body. Like, these are body physical things. And you've had some major changes there over the years. Oh, yeah. You've had some health issues you've had to really work hard and focus on, and they've really changed who you are and how you view the world. Yeah. So that 6th house energy is pretty strong. And then your moon is all over by itself over there in the 12th house in Aries. So your Aries energy is kind of hidden from you because it's intercepted. Aries is intercepted and Libra is intercepted in the 6th and 12th houses, which means that energy is something you were not taught or really allowed to let out when you were a child. Express. Which makes total sense. So give me a situation in childhood This is 12th house, so this would be early childhood. And then this is your moon, which would represent how we view our mother. But then Aries is this out there energy, this fiery energy. How can you think of how that was basically not allowed? You know, how did this placement manifest?
I don't know if it wasn't allowed. It was more so that it was not either acknowledged or encouraged. I mean, you know, my parents, especially my dad, never encouraged extravagance.
Right.
So, meaning
excessive fun.
yeah, just showing off in some way, showing off or showing different sides of yourself that you don't normally show. You're generally meant to look composed and whatever, not non-emotional essentially. And so much of my childhood was that, and it kind of just goes with many different instances. It wasn't necessarily one instant. It was kind of
for
just
sure.
this general overall kind of with all us kids, as far as just kind of keeping us from, I don't know, being more than, or I don't know how you would say it, but like just expressing ourselves in a way beyond doing our work or doing what we needed to do.
Right, which is, I mean, look at how much Capricorn you showed up with. You're like, you know how to do the work, but all of that Capricorn is square to this moon in Aries. Your emotions, you yearn internally to do that brave, fearless Aries fun thing. You really, that's something you emotionally crave. And you did express it a little bit when we were dating. You were in a musical. So we were in a musical together. And so it has come out. And then I think you choosing to join the military was very much an expression of this. This is Aries was war and military, right?
Sure.
And then you've got this, I'm going to do the thing that no one else in my family's done.
Right.
I'm going to do the different thing and the leadership thing. And it's the thing that can be honored and respected. And Aries is all about that. Like, I'm going to go do this thing nobody expects me to do.
Yep.
And that,
but even in that case, the military kind of squashes that as well.
For sure.
Because they're not looking for extravagance. They're not looking for anyone beyond, outside of, you know, the standard status quo that they're looking for.
And it's not fun. Aries is fun. Really fun. And the military is like anti-fun. I feel like they really just kind of like steal the fun from you until they have like, oh, we're having this ball. You can come to this ball and have fun, right? The Marine ball or whatever, right? This is where you have fun, but it's controlled fun. So that's so interesting. But I think that was definitely a rebellious Aries way for you to express your emotional needs is I'm going to get the F out of here, right? And then your girlfriend, Aries girlfriend, is like, oh, that sounds fun. I'll come with you. And you were like, really? What? Yeah. So we went off on our journey together. Now, both of us have Sagittarius 7th house. So that travel energy is important. Yep. Really important. So you have these square energies, and square energies are a tension, a consistent tension within us. This is what makes us these multidimensional beings, right? Because we're not just our sun sign, as the newspaper horoscopes or some of the books out there want you to believe, right? We are multidimensional, and really the things that make us these really dynamic people are squares and oppositions. I like them. I think they're cool. It's where you have to go to the gym and really build muscle there. So your emotional needs intercepted in Aries in the 12th house of Pisces, right? So you've got this 12th house where you really need to help others heal, and you need to heal your own lineage, and you need to heal your own past life trauma emotionally. And it's connected to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things in your chart. So that gives us a flavor of the different needs you have to heal in this life. But one of the things it's connected to in a great way is this trine to Jupiter in your 7th house of partnership. Hi, I bring a lot of good luck and good fortune with your Scorpio energy, your transformation energy. I'm like, hey, let's do this. And you're like, oh, all right. I never heard of that. That sounds cool. Hey, let's try this now. Oh, okay. And sometimes those have been amazing choices.
Yeah.
And sometimes
That's amazing.
we've gotten stung.
Yeah.
Jupiter is excess. And how many times in our marriage can you think of where we've gone excessive?
Many times.
Oops. That's me. Hello, sorry. So
kind of a cyclical thing.
it is. It's very much a cyclical thing. So when we're looking at your natal chart, before we dive into your solar return, we got to kind of see who you are and why the solar return chart can sometimes feel so jarring. Because you'll see when we pull it up, we've looked at his a little bit already, and I've kind of helped him to understand it a little bit already, but you'll see when we pull it up and when we start discussing it, it's a complete flip for you, because you've got Aries energy hidden from you and intercepted from you. It's like all tucked away in the back of the damn closet, right?
Yeah.
And that's where your moon lies. So when we go to your solar return, it's going to be an interesting flip. The one thing I really want to discuss is Chiron there is hanging out at 23 degrees Taurus, right next to your 21 degree rising, your ascendant sign. So you've got this Taurus Chiron, which many of us in this generation do, but yours is in and on your first house. How has that shown up for you? You're wounded healer, and this is normal. This normally shows up with self-esteem issues in a particular area. So for you, it's self-esteem in your first house of me, who I am and how I show up. So what's that look like for you most of your 39 years?
Well, much like you said, Aries being hidden and that expression being hidden, it's kind of all just been pushed back, and many insecurities there as far as whether good enough or whether it's worth putting myself out there. And even if I did put myself out there and did things, I generally lost steam at doing it because for whatever reason I decided it's too much and I don't want to put myself out there anymore or whatever.
Okay, we have to talk about that because I'm staring at that. We've got Mars in Aquarius in the 10th house. So your drive in life, your vehicle in life absolutely does run out of steam. When you've got your drive and your passion and your motivator and your fight in an air sign, I don't care if it's fixed air, it's still air, and you can run out of steam, or you can, Aquarius, change your mind. Oh, I tried this isn't holding my interest, I'm out. And you just change your mind. It's like your car is going on one destination and you were going to go visit this place, and then you were like, screw that, we're gonna go to the beach instead.
So irritating as a Capricorn.
Right, because your mind and what you love and how you feel nourished and nurtured and who you are is all about consistency and hard work and follow through. Damn it,
finish the job,
be responsible. And then Mars is like all flippant over here, like I don't fucking want to.
Yeah. Fizzles out.
So your Chiron then gets activated again, and you go, oh, can't I do anything, or can't I follow through, or why? You start to talk negative about it and judge yourself because it's hanging out in Taurus by Judgy McJudgerson Capricorn, right? So like you've got a lot of judgment about this Aquarian Mars you've got going. Right. And then your Aries energy is just like not accessible to you. Right. So now we got this wound in the Aries house. We've got our Aries intercepted. Our moon is there. So our emotional needs, which demand to be felt, are not being actively dealt with or, supported because it's hidden. Yep. So unless you're married to somebody who sees this and goes, oh shit, like I should ask you, like, are you emotionally okay? Do you need something, right? Like, how can I support your emotional needs? That's an important thing to help you bring awareness to, instead of letting it stay hidden in the closet. I can be the one to go in and go, let's clean out your emotional closet today, hon. Come on, let's go. And you're like, shit, no. And I'm like, no, we're doing this. And this is why my sun is conjunct your moon in Aries, because this is why we together.
Yeah.
This is right here. So I can clean out your emotional closet. You love it.
Go.
It's your favorite thing.
That's why I married you. Okay.
I love it. So we've got a very interesting natal chart. So we're going to pull up the solar return chart for you, which is coming up here on Friday. Your birthday's on Friday. That's so exciting. Happy birthday.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. We're not there yet.
So your solar return for this year has you with a 1 degree sun. Okay, that's always going to be 1 degree Capricorn. It's got a 3 degree moon in Capricorn. So now, no matter what house this is in, this happens to all be in the first house, but no matter what house this is in, when your sun and your moon are together, you cannot not show your emotions. It's like you dress up for the day. You put on the shirt that has like a blinking sign of how your emotions are. Like it's just you showing emotion. It's like the sunshine is like, here's how he feels today, everybody. So like there's no getting away from, if you're crabby, you just better allow everybody to see that you're crabby and do something to actively, move that energy through you. But there's no way to hide it. But you're going to be Capricorn, so it'll be probably a little bit more cold energy, just more reserved, more focused on doing the service and not necessarily hanging out and chatting.
Well, so how's that work when my Capricorn's intercepted?
Right.
You said with Aries being intercepted in my natal.
Isn't that
my
interesting?
Capricorn's intercepted.
Exactly. So we're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna dive into all the complexities of this. So with your sun and your moon conjunct in the first house, it's going to show up just like I said, like you're wearing a blinking shirt with like your mood on for the day. Then at 16, 21, and 27 Capricorn, we've got Venus, Mercury, and Pluto. So you've got 5 planets in Capricorn this year, all in your first house of Aries. But it happens to be intercept, Capricorn does. So that means we've got the first house starts in Sagittarius and the second house starts in Aquarius. All 30 degrees of Capricorn is in there. So typically, from my understanding of interceptions, is that this is an energy you have to kind of work to access. Like it doesn't just come naturally. So again, this is Aries first house energy, and it happens to all be the planets happen to all be in Capricorn. So we've got to work to do this Aries energy. And so we've got the work is the Capricorn, this foundation and the structure, which you have with all of your natal Capricorn. So you have this understanding, but you've got to work to put yourself out there with Aries energy. So why don't you tell everybody what you just got accepted to?
So I guess going along with the lines of putting myself out there, I just recently got accepted or
a role
in a play at a theater, somewhat semi-local to here, Tish Mills, if anybody knows where that is.
It's like a 200-person town.
Right. So that's my first time auditioning for any kind of role like that in over 20 years since high school.
Yeah.
High school, I mean, those were different. But in any case, that was something I had never, I wouldn't have considered doing even a year ago, I guess.
Oh my gosh, not even 5 months ago. No.
I never even thought of doing something like that. Just part of it was just the commitment of doing something like that and having to show up to rehearsals and memorizing lines.
But when we're looking at the solar return chart, Capricorn is commitment.
Yeah.
Like that is hardworking structure and being responsible. And then this Aries energy is, let's try something new. Let's be brave and fearless and a leader. And then your rising sign is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter here. And Jupiter, I mean, it likes to be seen. It's a big planet, right? And Sagittarius, you know enough Sagittariuses, they have fun and play. I mean, my little brother is like just screams Sagittarius and he loves to play.
Yeah. That's all he does.
That's all he does. That's all he does, which is phenomenal. So for you, this is really something that the energy is asking you to do. And no, not even 3 or 4 months ago would you have considered this.
Nope.
Now we have to take a step back, because his wife is the one who signed up for the audition. So the audition happened because I emailed and said, Philip will audition for this part on this day. And then he got the email and went, oh, I guess it's committed. I have to do it now. So, and I know this about him. So this is kind of like my sneaky way of pushing. I just got to like use my Aries ram to just a little bit. Yep. So
Ramming the goat.
What's really cool though is our son also got a role in the play as well. It's A Wrinkle in Time. And our son and daughter have actually been in these shows twice now. So it's very cool. And I'm so excited for you guys to do this together.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I think it'll be really neat. And Venus is in that first house, which again, Venus is relationships and it's money. Right. So bringing in income and creating new relationships in an Aryan way, but still working hard and being responsible about it. Don't forget, we can't have too much fun. It's Capricorn here. It'll be Aries in an Aries, way, but still very like we can't go overboard.
Yes.
No. So I think this is very interesting because your sun and moon this year are actually square to a 0-degree Aries Jupiter. And we've got squares from Venus and Mercury to Chiron. So both in Aries, both in communication and writing and siblings, and there's square to these planets in the first house.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see how this plays out for you. Typically when Jupiter's talking to anybody, it's not a terrible thing. I like to think of him as like, he's like the really boisterous, loud guy at the party. And sometimes he can get a little too obnoxious and you're like, okay, Uncle Sal, that's enough now, right? Like he gets a little too much. And I feel like that's what a square energy is. So if he's square to your sun and moon, I feel like sometimes he might make you feel a little too seen or a little too uncomfortable on stage. Like, oh shit, what have I gotten myself into? Right? We've got an Aries in the first house, Aries energy. So, I mean, Jupiter there can go too far, have too much fun, which that will then in turn make that Capricorn moon go, hold on, folks. We are not being responsible about this. And that tension will build, right? That's that tension that will be, Jupiter's like, let's go audition for all of the parts. And Capricorn's like, we have a family and we have stuff we have to do. Come on now. Let's be responsible about our funness. Right. So this is the inner tension I feel like you're going to be really experiencing. But that third house is writing and communicating and speaking. And I feel like that speaking and being on stage those go hand in hand. So maybe you're going to be doing, I don't know, more shows or podcasts, or you'll want to write more, or do more of that, but there might not necessarily be the time when you've got responsibilities.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, which is always a problem.
Always a problem. Yes.
Finding any time for anything.
So we've got a lot going in that first house. You have, when we looked at your natal chart, Aries was just not an energy you were comfortable with. And this year, that Chiron in Aries is going to help you really heal that. I think that's really what we're doing this year with that Chiron in Aries, is digging deep and using those wounds you've experienced in the past. And as you enter into this new decade, leaving that shit behind, and we've talked about this before, leaving that, oh, I'm scared to be brave, or I'm scared to try the new thing, or I'm just scared to just do it without asking permission, right? That's a big one. And I think this year is going to be about like, just say what you need to say. Just do what you need to do. And that's the energy I feel like is going to be very healing for you. And, eventually we figure our Chiron out. We're not always wounded by him. there's a scar for sure, right?
Right.
You can be like, look at this cool scar. This is when I fell off my truck when I was 2, right? Like we've got stories. And so he's the scar that we use to tell the stories to connect, but we don't have to live in the story again and again and again. We can just talk about it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to be going on for you this year for sure with that Aries energy. Pluto is there at 27 degrees Capricorn, so you've got some hard work to do with this Aries transformation you're going to go through, right? Putting yourself out there. Your mind and the way you think is going to be in a very forward thinking direction, a very like, oh, why not do that? All right. Well, should I ask Laura? No, she'll be fine with it. All right, I'm gonna go, and you just do it. Like your thought process will not be so, I feel like, so hesitant. It'll just be like, okay, go do it. Just go. Aries is very just like, you've lived with me long enough. Do it. I don't have to explain it.
Right.
Just go.
Yeah.
Right. So your mind will be very just kind of straightforward and go, but it'll really be focused on that work and that responsibility. And we've got some big ones coming up this year, don't we?
Cool. We got a child on the way.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big one.
Yeah. That's a big one. And our little magic baby will be an Aries baby. And your 4th house, I just saw that. Your solar return 4th house starts in Aries, like a good chunk of it, 3/4 of it is Aries.
Yep.
So that's kind of amusing. And then Uranus is in the 5th house of children. And I love Uranus. You know I do. It's just the best planet in the whole universe. It's
Best planet on the planet.
It's the best planet on the planet. It's chaos and it's eccentricity and it's sudden change and it's lightning. And it also rules our nervous system. So for you, you have to be mindful of your nervous system when it comes to your hobbies. 5th house is hobbies, how much you play, and your children. So
Okay.
those things can both ground you or throw your nervous system off suddenly or chaotically, which makes total sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, boom, we're going to have another child, and then suddenly we have to shift.
Sure. Right.
And, you know, and it's in that Taurus energy this year. And Taurus is foundation, family, loyalty. There's changes there, big changes.
Right.
But we've got lots of sudden changes with your creativity and the way you do hobbies. I'm so excited to see what you do. Oh, we're going to be building a house.
It's starting to anyway over this next year.
So, and it's a unique house.
Will be.
So when you've got Saturn in your 2nd house this year in Aquarius, there's uniqueness and hard work on foundation. 2nd house is our foundation and our structure. And it's also finances. So Saturn's going to make you work hard for finances this year and stay consistent. He doesn't necessarily say you can't have them. He just says, make sure you're consistent and don't be floundering around, right? Now, Aquarius is changing and changes.
Right.
So we must be aware of Saturn in Aquarius because Saturn wants us to have structure and Aquarius is like, screw that shit.
Yeah.
So you got to think about how can you really create structure but allow flexibility to happen within the structure. And I think that's what our new house is. I really do.
Yeah.
Because so what we're doing is renovating our barn into a home. And we're going to have like a chunk of it still be a barn and then have a garage and then have the home. And so you have to work hard to create a new foundation, a new structure, and something very unique, very Aquarian. And you have to be flexible with what you thought you were going to do, right? Because you're going to be doing this and all of a sudden you'll encounter a problem and go, okay, I'm going to need to shift.
Right.
And responsibly fix this foundation because that's what Saturn it rules. And then all the Capricorn is, again, hard work, responsibility, thinking in that way. So we have to be mindful of Saturn because he is square to the planet Uranus. And those two not having a good conversation can cause a little bit of chaos in your life. when your planet of discipline and rules and your principle is not having a healthy conversation with a independent jerk-faced student who just wants to do art and play all day. And Saturn's like, no, we must be responsible, but I respect your uniqueness. Being an Aquarius, I respect your uniqueness, but we still need to be responsible. So you're going to have this tension within you for the whole year. It's going to be very interesting to watch. I'm very curious about this.
Talk to me next year and see how it goes.
Right? We'll do another one. Do you feel that yet? Do you feel that energy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially when it comes to, I got this health stuff coming up with my teeth or whatever.
Oh, yes.
All that work going on. So I don't know how that's going to play out exactly, but I know it's going to be a lot, and I'm sure it's going to cause some chaos.
Yep.
I'm sure.
For sure. Yeah. So I just finished up all kinds of teeth stuff and got implants and surgery, face bone restructuring. Oh my gosh. It was a thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to do a whole episode on it, but Saturn rules our structure and our physical bones and all of that. And he's in Aquarius. So we're being smart, genius. It's genius level. So we're being smart about this and making sure that we are working hard to redo our structure. I mean, second house is literally your physical foundation of your body too. So we need to work hard on that. But yeah, Aquarius in Taurus is definitely going to cause some sudden chaos and some changes. Absolutely. With finances, with all of it, for sure. And you want to play and go do other shit. You don't want to work on your teeth and take care of this.
Right.
But you got Mars in the 6th house of health and body. And it's in Gemini. So now we got this duality, these twins. We got yin and yang, black and white. And they don't merge well. They're their own unique things. So with your drive there, one day you'll want to do it, the next day you won't. And then one day you'll work really hard at it, and the next day you're like, screw this. And that's going to be a challenge.
Okay.
That's going to be a challenge for you, for sure. But I think the maturity that you've already grown into with your natal chart, having Saturn and Pluto conjunct each other in your natal chart, I think that's an energy you've already worked hard on. So I'm not sure if Mars and Gemini in the 6th house is going to affect you as profoundly as it could other people, because you've created such a good foundation of your health, and we've worked on it, and I work on it. Like, that's what we do.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what your family does day to day.
Yeah.
So if anything, it would be, more me than I've got so much Gemini energy. It might be me that pulls you out of it, like my needs when I have baby or whatever.
Sure.
Right? So that could very much be it. So we've got a really interesting chart because 99% of it is all in your 1st through 6th houses. So there's not a lot of put yourself out there and be seen and work on your life's purpose this year. It's mostly like work on yourself. This is a very self-development year. 1st house, 2nd house, 3rd house, that's the house of who you are, your foundation, your body, your structure, how you communicate with the world. Like, these are the main hierarchy of needs. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd house. And that's where, 92% of your planets are. So you're really going to be transforming who you are in your 4th decade. And I'm so fucking excited.
As long as it's for the better.
Right. Oh, of course. Well, it's Aries. So I'm digging that in general. I really love that. So I think it's really important to definitely talk about Neptune down there. He's at 22 degrees Pisces, just at the edge of your 2nd house. And you have had a spiritual pull for a while. You've been interested in shamanism and meditations. And what is the practice you do in the morning? Qigong. So you've been really leaning into this Neptune and Pisces, really tapping into your intuition. And that's going to be an important part of your chart this year. I think Neptune is talking to 5 different planets. So he's having quite a few conversations. Some of them are super easy, like amazing conversations with some sextiles, and some of them are a little bit more uncomfortable. Neptune is squaring your sun and moon, and that's going to be really, a Pisces is just not an Aries Capricorn energy at all. So that's going to be the tension, right? Your Neptune in Pisces is saying, hey, you need to take time away, go meditate, do your Qigong, go for walks in nature, work on healing. And that's how we will create stability and money. And your sun and moon in Capricorn Aries are like, screw that shit. Let's go do work and play and move and take action, right? They're movers. They're doers.
Sure. Yeah.
And Pisces is like, actually, let's just be and hang out. So that's the square you're going to be feeling is number one, knowing you need it for your stability, right? Second house stability, knowing that that has to happen. And it's just at the cusp of your third. It's still in the second, but it's just at the cusp of your third. And that means like this will be important for communicating your needs, right? This is, you got to get this down so that the third house can do what it needs to do. So first you're going to be who you are with that sun, and then you're going to feel what you need to feel. And then you're going to work on money and relationships, and your mind is going to be really involved and wrapped up in all of that. And then you're going to really transform because of all those things. So all those planets there. And then we're going to move into Saturn, and he's going to make us work hard on our structure and our foundation and our money and all of that second house energy. And I think it's funny that we are like, we're going to be putting a lot of energy, and it might just be ideas this year because Aquarius is the idea, right? Doer. So this year we may really be acquiring information on home building, right? Acquiring information on how to make the cordwood or how to work around, timbers and stuff like that. So we may not take a lot of action on the home building. I think there'll be some, but it probably will be information gathering more than anything.
Can see that.
Which makes sense, right? Yeah. Doesn't that? Yeah. Especially financially.
Well, exactly.
There's that.
Start knowing anyways.
Exactly.
What I'm planning to do.
But really what's really important then right after that is your spiritual practice, your connection with anything in the nethers, right? All of the mystical, your intuitive knowing. If your intuition talks to you this year, tune into it, tune into it on a structural level, on a consistent level. And then right after that Jupiter is going to say, okay, now it's time to play and communicate everything we've been holding back for the last 39 years. Hello, right? Like you're going to speak up in a new way. I'm so excited. And then Chiron is here to heal that Aries energy and help you to be bold and brave. And he's over there connected in a sextile to Mars. So that's amazing. So Aries and Mars or Aries and Gemini work really, really well together. So you'll use that communication again with Gemini to help heal. That's just going to keep helping to heal. Your hobbies and fun are going to be quite active this year, in children, house of children. And then where your wisdom comes from, I think is very intriguing. It's in Cancer this year, 23 degrees, Pallas Athena, the asteroid of wisdom and strategy. And she's in the house of the sign of parenting. In parenting this year, you're going to get really wise. Hey, give me some of that. Freaking kids.
I'll get it to you when I actually gain some of it.
Right? So that's in the 7th house. And interestingly enough, that wisdom is Cancer energy is intercepted. So we'll have to work hard again on that. And your partner will help with that. Your lovely wife over here in that 7th house, but really anybody you work with. So your children, your one-on-one relationship with your son, being a parent will help you access that wisdom. And then up at the 9th house, you've got Sirius, the asteroid Sirius, our nourishment and fulfillment. So you really still need to keep doing online classes and learning, helping to teaching others what you've already learned. And in Libra, all about peace and harmony, relationship, how to be in healthy relationship. And one of the things we're looking at doing is starting a boys retreat center out here where it would be like we're still working on the name, but like a maturing into manhood retreat, right? So coming out with a father or father figure or older brother for 4 nights and doing emotional connection and spiritual work and physical work and really doing like a rite of passage. And that's such a nurturing thing for you this year if you were to actually do what your wife wants you to do.
If I don't,
you won't feel nourished.
yeah.
Your nourishment will disappear. So this has been an intuitive thing I have gotten, is this retreat center. So I'm curious to see if this is going to manifest, because I've kind of created the whole thing from a dream, actually, a dream I had during a full moon. And I think it's very interesting that I had this dream about this retreat, which I'd been thinking about for a while, but like in the dream, it gave me all of the information of like how long it should be, how much, like all of it. It was just phenomenal. So I got it all together and I told my husband and son, hey, I think you guys are doing this retreat. And they were like, wait, what? So I think I had to plant the seed that early to let it germinate with you two, with your earthiness. It had to overwinter.
At least that.
But it would be a very Capricorn Aries thing to do, actually. And a Sagittarius rising would be a really, really first house thing to do, is do a retreat like that. Absolutely. That would be something I think you would enjoy this year. Whereas when I first presented it to you, you weren't feeling this energy yet. So you were like, Laura, no. Even Elliot was like, no. No, do we get to say no? I was like, no, you don't get to say no. I love it. Do you have any questions with your solar return? Anything that's jumping out, or?
I don't know if I get any questions. I mean, I guess I never really thought of as a solar return. So, I mean, essentially, this is what a person born at this time would have in their chart, right?
Well, it's interesting.
Other than the houses, because it depends on the time.
Right. But my mom and you share a birthday. Mm-hmm. And my mom is turning 70, he's turning 40, so it's a big year. And I've looked at their solar return charts in the past, and they've never been the same. This year, they're almost identical. And I was like, what in the blazes? It was super strange because they're born at different times, different years, different everything. And it shifts based on your particular sun return, right? But this year it happened to line up where you and her are Sagittarius rising this year, different degrees, but still close enough, where she is also going to be experiencing almost all of this. And I'm so curious to sit over here and like eat my popcorn and watch the movie play out. This will be so interesting to see the difference in how it plays out in a 70-year-old female versus a 40-year-old male.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how the energies manifest the same yet different. This is going to be the best science experiment ever. Astrology science experiment. Yeah. So, but yeah, it does normally change. If somebody else who shares a birthday with you would not actually have the same. But this year you and my mom just happened to line up, and I'm so intrigued.
Okay.
So intrigued. So yeah, I think it'll be really fun. Okay. It's first house energy, so it better be.
We'll see, I guess.
And we keep hearing about funness when it comes to the baby.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a couple. We had Mary Louise on the show, and she has done a few readings for us with baby. And that's like the first thing that comes up. Just so fun. Baby's just so fun. This is going to be so much fun. Baby just wants you to know this is going to be fun. It's going to be an adventure.
Yeah.
Aren't those Aries words?
Yeah, right.
Well, thanks for stepping in for Helena today. She'll be back soon. She just had some, speaking of teeth, right? Teeth stuff and health stuff. So she just took an episode off. And so I got my backup goat.
You're the goat.
Surround myself.
Your main goat.
Surround myself with the goats. I love it. Well, thanks for being on the show today and doing a reading with us and putting yourself out there and An Aries, the first house way.
Yep.
Good job.
Always
And
through you.
thanks for listening today and watching. And if you want to be on the show or have a question to submit, you can reach us at RamGoatAstrology@gmail.com. Thanks so much. And yeah, we will talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to be a part of our show or have a personal reading done with us, email us at RamGoatAstrology@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. See you next week.